All right, this is Stacy. Apparently, she is the in charge of the American Diabetes Association's nutrition and wellness program. So let's take a listen as to what she has to say regarding where diabetics should start out with their nutrition.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stacy, the Director of Nutrition and Wellness at the ADA. We get asked a lot about where to start for meal planning for people diagnosed with prediabetes or diabetes. A simple start is using the diabetes plate method. Find a 9-inch plate. These are usually the smaller luncheon or salad plates in your dinnerware set. Fill half the plate with non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens, green beans, broccoli, and then 1/4 of the plate from lean protein and the remaining quarter section of your quality carbohydrate choice, such as starchy vegetables, rice, pasta, bread. Drink calorie-free beverages for hydration. And as you get familiar with the amounts, it's easier to incorporate combination foods. But when in doubt, eat more non-starchy veggies. Check out the article linked below for more information. Hello.
Okay, so this is basically, well, I mean, the first sort of gut response is, this woman looks obese. Why would I be taking any advice at all from her? And I mean, if she was saying, hey, eat a carnivore diet, all of us would say, oh, we'd give her a pass. So you can't necessarily just dismiss somebody out of hand based on their appearance. Although, in my view, you got to say, is this sustainable? If I can't do it, then what good is that advice? And it's not that the advice itself would result in maybe what she's experiencing. You think about what is the advice she's giving. What's the standard low fat diet? Sort of stuff that's been sort of hashed about since at least the 1980s. Where we're eating a quarter of our, half of our plate. And again, it's a 9-inch plate, so we're going to be restricting calories. We're going to be eating a bunch of leaves, which provide, essentially no real satiety. I mean, it bloats your gut up for a little while, but it's not particularly satiating. Lean protein, and then the rest of the energy. The energy is going to be coming from starch. Whether it's rice, potatoes, noodles, or something like that. And so probably you're going to develop problems with maybe gut problems with a lot of gas. And depending on how much starch you're consuming, your blood glucose may be hard to control. You might get a lot of just glycemic variability here. And that diet, while if you could truly stick to a very reduced amount of calories in that sitting weight, you might lose weight. You might even see some modest improvements in your overall diabetes. The problem with that is that diet sucks, to be honest. I mean, it's for most people, it's going to be something that's going to lead to, I'm incredibly hungry, I'm just going to binge on something else, and they'll say, wow, look, you didn't do the diet, it didn't work, because you weren't compliant. Well, when you make me be compliant with eating, sawdust and rocks, well, of course I'm gonna rebel and eat something else. Whereas, the majority of the people, and the ADA put this up on their Twitter page or their X page, and got something like thousands of people to saying how stupid it was, right? As people are kind of waking up to this sort of low-fat nonsense that is not sustainable for most people. That's the bottom line. Whether or not, if you could do that diet, it might make sense and it might work, but very, very few people, outside of people who are willing to white knuckle, rigidly do that, can live on a low energy diet. And that's kind of what it is, or a carb-based low fat diet, which is challenging to say the least. Now, you contrast that to a lower carbohydrate diet, or even a carnivore diet, where you don't necessarily put those artificial breaks on the side of the food. I mean, it kind of occurs naturally for many people. Remember, there's a huge push for these GLP-1 receptor agonists, medications out there. And remember, beef in particular stimulates GLP-1. It provides satiety naturally rather than artificially through drugs and whatnot, and more appropriately in an appropriate physiological manner. So it's on and off very quickly, rather where the drugs stay in your system for sometimes days and even weeks in some cases. And so really, I mean, this is, they're just doubling down on this. This is the diet, low fat, lots of indigestible vegetables, and starch as your energy source. And remember, it kind of reminds me of that Nurse Patty was saying, carbs is your brain food. Remember that gal? So that's the advice for the current, diabetic in mainstream. The American Diabetes Association is not in the business. They say they're connected to you for life. They're not in the business of you not being diabetic anymore. In fact, a lot of their revenue depends upon people being diabetic, and of course, the drug companies and the hospitals, they depend on you guys to stay diabetic in a way, which is quite sad. At Rivera, our goal is, hey, get out of here. Let's fix you and get the heck out. So you don't need to be on these drugs and you don't need support anymore. But I think, and the difference really, and I'll just plug Rivera again here, is that, when it comes to diabetes, the reality is you need intensive, aggressive, intelligent support over a period of time so that you can, be empowered. This is the thing, when you are plugged into our medical system, you become disempowered, disappointed, disillusioned, depressed because, hey, you got some chronic disease. We don't know why. Here's your pills for the rest of your life. That is absolutely depressing. There's a better way, guys. All right. Let me know what you guys think. We'll talk to you soon.